You ever thought about what professional means? I mean, you want to be professional, right? And people promote regularly that they're professional. And you may even feel as though what you're doing is professional, but professional is in the eye of the people that hire us. You know what I'm saying? Hi, it's Bill. It's Creative License. Thanks again for being a part of this great experiment that I've been doing. And thanks, of course, to my sponsors like Electro-Voice, one of the finest speaker and microphone companies I've ever dealt with in my entire life. I use all Electro-Voice gear. Also a DJ Event Planner and Promo Only and Disc Jockey News and DJ NTV. And of course, my workshop, The Entertainment Experience, which will be an online workshop very, very soon. Just keep tuned and I'll let you know. So, professional. Let me tell you a little bit about how I kind of got to where I am, or where I started to think of this as well. I've been DJing for a very long time. I started out when I was a kid, and I brought the gear that I brought, and I would be sure that in my contracts that there were specific things available to me when I showed up to the venue. This is just a small example. There's lots of ways to look at this, but in the contract it said I needed to have access at a certain time, which of course you should. But then the facility or the client had to make a 6 to 8 foot table available to me. The client had to make sure that the table was linened and looks nice. The client had to provide me with a ladder to be able to hang a mirrored ball from the ceiling. The client had to make sure that my little corner had a chair and I got a meal and all of those things. And that's just the way DJs did it, the professional way. Well, when I started to be seen as professional by those venues and by my customers is when I started being responsible for those things. In other words, I became responsible for the things that I needed at the event. It wasn't that tough for me to go out and buy myself a table, okay? It wasn't that difficult for me to buy and bring along a facade or my own linens and my own skirting around that table. I packed a ladder. In fact, I would call ahead of time to be sure that I could use a ladder in their facility. Okay, I asked permission to be sure that I had available time to be able to get in there, set up, and tear down. And it was that kind of taking responsibility for my event and for the work I'm going to do on somebody else's property that began to have me seen as someone professional. Now, that's just one example. And you don't have to do this. I don't care one way or the other. But I will tell you that when I started to look like a professional to the people and colleagues that I had to work around on a regular basis. So really what it comes down to is, are you responsible or are you making other people responsible? Are you responsible for looking professional and being professional and looking like you've got it together and no one has to do your job for you? Or are you making it someone else's responsibility to be sure they do your job for you? Trust me, there's still things that I expect from my clients, and there are still things that I expect from the venues that I work in, but it's a two-way street now. I don't walk in there thinking that I'm the king and they got to do what I say. What do you think of this? Okay, I'm not saying that you do it, but I'll bet you this shows up for you, at least in your past, if not something that's going on with you right now. Maybe not this one specific thing, but something else. Write your comments below, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next week on Creative License.